You're listening to the ZABE Smart Mortgage Podcast, a podcast show that inspires and educates you about the lending process, what trends we're seeing, how to get the best rate, and so much more. Hosted by Fidel Dorado, team leader for the Fidel Dorado team at ZABE Mortgage Group. Fidel has helped hundreds of people with their mortgages, and now he wants to help you become mortgage smart.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in another episode of the ZABE Smart Mortgage Podcast. Today we have Hector Medina with us visiting, and today's episode we want to talk about how we can finally help someone go from not owning a home, having the idea of just, you know what, I want to buy a home this next year, right? Not having an idea of where they're at, where to start, what to do, to finally, hopefully, sometime throughout the year of 2022, finally having keys in hand, right? So want to talk about that a little bit, Hector. So I know that you probably get a lot of phone calls, buyers that get interested in buying a home. As a realtor, you probably get that. That sounds like the fun part, right? Going looking at homes, and you get the clients that call you that just want to go straight to the fun part, right? So what do you say to someone when you get that phone call?
First off, Fidel, thanks for having me. That's a call we get quite often. It's somebody calling on a sign. They might see some marketing somewhere, and that's the first initial contact to have with us. They're inquiring on a property, curious about the price, curious about the features a home may have, and they want to, I guess they want information on that specific property. But ultimately, they made that decision. They made that decision that they want to buy a home. That's the first utmost, I think, thing that they are doing. They made that conscious decision. They want to become a homeowner. The second step, I feel, is to take action. And taking action, it would be to link up with professionals such as ourselves, somebody that can guide them and create a pathway for them to achieve that goal they have. And that would be the biggest step is to reach out to us, professionals that are doing it, that can give them the hand, give them information, give them all, can be the resource for them in order to achieve that.
Yeah, and then one thing that we call it homeownership by design. And that's something that we've been promoting, and something that we believe in is pretty much eliminating the obstacles, or purposely eliminating the obstacles that someone may encounter when they have the idea of buying a house, right? Or they're going through the process. And so I know that in talking to a lot of our different realtor partners that are out there, business partners that are out there, when they refer someone, that's the first thing they want to do is, they want to start looking at homes right away. So what would you tell somebody that says, hey, you know what, Hector, I like this house, it looks like you have the house listed for sale, or I've heard great things about you, your so-and-so referred me over to you. What do you say to someone like that has the idea that finally, okay, I want to buy my house?
I appreciate the fact that they considered me for giving them a hand in the process. But secondly, I guide them, and that next step would be to share a little bit of the process without getting a little too convoluted and too detailed at that point. But the next step would be to ask and encourage the fact that they need to sit down with a mortgage professional, somebody that deals specifically with financing for homes, and that can be their source for that financial advice and guide them and somewhat tailor a mortgage loan for their needs, because not everybody's financial circumstances are the same. So there's not a blanket approach to that, and that's the difference of dealing with a professional that has lots of experience and knows what the client may need based on their financial standings, their strengths, and the things they may need a hand on. So, and that's when I encourage them to reach out to you, or we set up an appointment so they can reach out to somebody within your office in order to, get that ball rolling.
Knowing their options, basically, right? And we talked about this on the write up here. Is there's not a one size fits all for everyone, right? Or the microwave effect, right? The microwave loan, where you just pop it in, and 30 seconds later, you have your mortgage loan that's just like right for you, right? No, it's a process overall, and making sure that we eliminate those obstacles is something that that we need to do first and foremost, so we can find out what the purchase power is, right? So you can know what kind of loan program you're eligible for. Is there any kind of down payment assistance if you're a first-time home buyer? What do the payments look like, for example, for that particular price range? What is your comfort level? Just having an overall understanding of that. Now, I know that a lot of clients sometimes, when they call us, or maybe even when they call you as well, and you can tell me if this is something that you experience is, well, you know what, I just don't feel that we're ready. right now. There's a couple things that we want to work on. We'll give Fidel a call, or we'll give that lender a call in a couple months once we feel we've taken care of a couple things and we feel that we're ready. What do you say to somebody like that?
That's a big issue we seem to come across quite often. And in order to overcome those type of hurdles that this potential homeowner may have, is to stick the path. And you have somebody that's wanting to help you achieve this. That person is laying out a roadmap for you. That roadmap is going to have obstacles. It's going to have the hurdles. And I know sometimes it can seem daunting. I know it can seem overwhelming, but because of the fact that this is what we do, and we know how to do it, and we can help you overcome these things, is just to stay the path, stay the course, stick with it. The guidance and the experience and information that you're passing on to them is invaluable. There's no price you can put on that information, where before you know it, if you follow that information and that guidance, before you know, I'll be giving somebody their keys, because they stuck to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it takes time. It does take patience. It can't happen overnight in some cases. I mean, ideally, we'd love to pre-approve somebody like right then and there, right? But when somebody calls and they tell me, hey, look, well, I still don't feel I'm fully ready. I just want to wait a couple months before I actually sit down with you or talk about, my credit and my income situation. My answer to them is, well, how do you know? Like, what do you know what to work on? Exactly. There's so many things that you may have an idea, or you may think you need to work on, for example, with credit. But in reality, is it going to be a difference maker? Is it really going to be something that's going to make an impact and really get you there? And how do you might even be ready now. You'd be surprised. I mean, I've had experiences where I've done first-time home buyer presentations, and several buyers are like, well, we're going to wait. And the thing I tell them is, just come in. Let us, let's discuss what your goals are. Let's find out what your financial fingerprint is as it is now. And if there are things that we need to work on, let's work on those. But I can give you a detailed roadmap, like as you're talking about, a detailed game plan that's going to give you exact information, precise information that or for example, if you have a collection account, maybe do you pay that off, or do you not pay it off? Yeah. Your credit score might be borderline, and it's because you have a credit card account that maybe is maxed out. It could be a small account where it has a limit of $500, for example, and your balance is $300, and that's keeping your credit score from getting up to that next tier where, hey, guess what? Now you qualify for certain programs, right? So those are the kind of things that could be very minor that can, help you pinpoint exactly what you need to do versus trying to do the stuff on your own. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I've had going back to that story that I was saying, as far as the first-time homebuyer presentations that I've had before, is there's one particular client, and I just remember her. I mean, it was back in 2009, I believe, that I helped her. It was put on by the housing authority here with the local municipality here where we live, and it was about 30 people, and we were going back and forth, discussing the whole home ownership thing, and she was one that took my advice and came in. And I kid you not, she was thinking that she was nowhere near ready to purchase. She comes in, her credit score wasn't as bad as what she thought it was. Her income was there, her employment history was there, and I would say maybe 60, 90 days later, she is a homeowner. And then the homeownership by design part, what it comes is that, it's just, okay, so you have the idea of purchasing your home, you get pre-qualified, you purchase your home, well, then what happens after that, right? And, with her, she's already in a position now to where she's leveraged equity, it's helped her build, wealth, and now she's in a situation where she's still young enough to be able to pay off her mortgage and still be able to go into retirement age without a mortgage at all, So
That's awesome.
Those are the things that, that we want to make sure that we properly prepare everyone with, right? So, but the idea is, don't hold back. If you have the dream of owning your home, and you have finally the urge to say, you know what, no, I really want to do this next year, just my word of advice would be, just go talk to someone and get yourself pre-qualified. The first step, right? The first step should always be get pre-approved.
It's like anything, there's a procedural aspect to anything. But if you have the tools and you have people that are experienced, you can lean on their experience. You can, I would say we are homeowner advocates, but we are more coaches. We kind of coach people through the process. We coach them, we guide them, and that's what we're here for. We're here to simplify it for them. We know, things can seem very intimidating, but let's, use our resources and our experiat
No, you're right. It can be intimidating. Yeah. There's a lot of information out there that can confuse someone. But at the end of the day, really, everybody is like a fingerprint, right? And that's why I call it a financial fingerprint, because it's unique. You may be totally different than, your situation may be totally different than what somebody else may be. So going in, and talking to a professional, finding out what your financial fingerprint is, what your purchase power is at the time, or what you need to do to, overcome some of the obstacles that you may have, that's invaluable, like you said, and that's going to put you on the right path to eventually, be able to purchase your home, whether it be a month from now, 3 months, 6 months. And also the other thing is that you might be ready now, but you may be limited as far as the amount that you can qualify for, right? And so, for example, overtime is one example, right? As far as what the guidelines may be, is you've been employed now at this particular company, 10 months as an example, right? You have previous history before that. You change companies. Now you've been with this company for about 10 months. You're receiving a good amount of overtime. But because you haven't been with the company and you didn't have a history of overtime prior to that job, you haven't been with the company for a year, well, we can't count that overtime income. And though, we may be able to pre-approve you now for a certain amount, well, if you were to, be patient enough and, wait a couple more months so you can have that one full year, that now we can include that overtime income. And working together with the realtor to really keep people motivated and keep people understanding that, hey, look, it's worth the sacrifice of maybe, let's get you out there and looking at properties now. Opportunity may present itself within this price range that we are pre-qualified in now, but knowing that within the next couple of months, as we can include the overtime income, now we can go from, let's say, for example, $300,000 to $350,000, right? And that's going to open up the options.
Yes, definitely.
And that's all done with the purpose, right? And working together between the lender and the realtor and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, 2022 is fast, approaching. And for anybody that right now is looking and is interested and says, I think that next year I do want to make it my goal to purchase and finally be a homeowner. The first step, like I'm assuming that you would agree, is just go, take the leap of faith, go see your local lender, or even if you want to call a realtor, the realtor will, recommend a professional to you that they, feel comfortable with and that they can strongly recommend to properly prepare you. Would you agree with that?
100%. Have that team behind you. Have that team that's going to support what you're trying to achieve, and that's what we do. Mm-hmm. We work together to best, provide the best service for our client, and to work together collaboratively in order to achieve that goal for them. And that's one thing that I think we're good at bouncing off each other, is to keep each other in the loop, stay informed, and do what we need to do in order to help that buyer get those keys.
Do you have any other advice for clients that are out there when they see online, as far as they see houses or they see different things out there that have a certain price point on a certain home? For example, this is a pre-foreclosure home, but they haven't been pre-qualified, or they see a home that is priced very low compared to what the current market is. Do you have any advice for anyone that's out there that sees that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of data nowadays available on these apps. I won't name what they are, but we all know which the main players are and providing these lists of homes and access to information on what's on the market. Yeah. There's a lot of information out there, and homes that seem too good to be true in price, and they are properties that are in default. But unfortunately, those homes are unavailable to a traditional buyer. Those are homes that have to be purchased at an auction. Mm-hmm. With unfortunately, you can't finance those. So there's information out there, but as a consumer, you're looking things up, and it's natural to want to research something before you even jump in. Yeah. And I do that just buying a TV, for example. You want to compare things here and there. So that's normal. I just encourage them to go ahead and get a feel for what the market's doing, market values, get a feel for what's going for in the neighborhood they want to buy in. But ultimately, what's going to be the actual true source is going to be the real estate pro that sells within that area, that can give them the true numbers, show them what's actually available versus what's stated to be available, but what has accepted an offer a couple of days ago and has not reflected that change on that site. Yeah. So, and unfortunately, a lot of folks will see a home that they fall in love with, and they want to pull the trigger on something, but they can't because it's not available.
Yeah, it's not available, or they're not 100% ready.
Exactly.
Right. They haven't. Again, going back to making sure that they understand what they qualify for, what kind of loan options they may have, what the payment may be at the different prices and stuff like that. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. I just had one over. I think it was my parents they're remodeling their house, and it's the contractor that is working on their home. Showed me a house online. I think it was for like $125 in a certain area that we know it's nowhere near that price, right? It's maybe double the price what it is. And he was, hey, but the one thing that it does do is that it gets people excited.
It does.
It gets people excited. It gets people motivated to say, you know what? Well, maybe I should buy my house.
I could do it. Maybe I could do it.
Maybe I can do it. Exactly. And it gives them the motivation, gives them the idea, gives them it kind of gives them that sparkle, right? Okay, you know what? I do want to take the chance now, and I feel that I'm ready. What is my next step going to be? So then that's when they start reaching out to us, and we have to start gearing them in the right direction. So, but I mean, a lot of good information, Hector. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that we get these phone calls all the time, and it's
it's great. It's exciting. It's exciting to hear somebody's excitement.
Yeah, exactly.
That they want to buy their first home, and for us to have the opportunity to help them with that is very fulfilling.
No, it does. I mean, it does. It is exciting. You hear that. I mean, we do it for a living, right? So sometimes it just, it's almost we become desynthesized from it, right? Yeah. But it is, when you really sit back and think about it, it's like, wow. I mean, we have the opportunity to really make an impact in their life, and to properly prepare them, and accurately prepare them is an opportunity that that we cannot take for granted, and it feels good to be a part of that, be a part of that journey with that family. So again, thank you, Hector, for being here today. I know that we'll be talking here about some more stuff here pretty soon, but the main thing, again, at the end of the day, is heading into 2022 is that no matter what challenges there is in any kind of market, buyer market, seller market, the one thing that we do encourage everyone is the moment that you have the idea of wanting to own a home is just go visit with somebody. Yeah. Don't take things upon yourself to try to fix. Don't try to, go and do your own research online and maybe work on credit, or, think that you don't have enough income for whatever reason, or that you haven't had enough history at your employer, that, I've only been here for 6 months, for example. Go see a professional. Get the proper advice. You'll be surprised that, that there are options out there, or there's ways to structure or to help build up towards, getting you properly prepared and things like that. So, I guess the one takeaway we can take away from this today is hey, just take that leap of faith, right?
Take action.
Yeah, take action.
Take action.
All right. Thanks, Hector.
Thank you.
This has been an episode of the ZABE Smart Mortgage Podcast. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your next home, or refinancing, being smart about your mortgage options will save you time and money. ZABE Mortgage Group connects you to the technology, resources, and education to make you mortgage smart. From pre-approval to applying to getting approved and managing your loan, visit zabemortgage.com.